So this investigation began with the death of Lieutenant Colonel Charl Kinnear in the Western Cape. He was murdered midway through September. And what his death did unintentionally was draw back the veil on this massive covert surveillance which has been undertaken by various people, from security personnel, debt collectors and private investigators. Amongst them was Zane Kilian. Zane Kilian is an interesting man. In his youth he played professional rugby for the Griquas and Falcons, and at one stage his career took a dip because of a steroid scandal. After he left professional sport, he became a debt collector who specialized in repossessing cars. It's not clear at what point he became involved in the underworld. Zane Kilian's ping history in the beginning is quite staid. He starts with members of his family and people who he was trying to repossess cars from. And then in March of this year, things seemed to change and he began to pursue members of the underworld, criminal attorneys like William Booth, and obviously high-ranking police officers, among them Charl Kinnear. We've had a look at data which we believe is linked to Zane Kilian's ping history, and our analysis shows that in the entire time that he was using the service, over a period of 17 months, he pinged as many as 700 people. And he did that using 5,308 individual pings. What's important with that, obviously, is in terms of legislation, unless he had consent of the people he was tracking, each singular ping was illegal.
A cell phone ping is essentially a positioning ping. So what it does is it looks your phone up on the cell phone network through a protocol, and it feeds back to the user who had pinged your cell phone latitude and longitude GPS coordinates for where your cell phone is. But it's not specific to your cell phone's location, like within 2 or 3 meters. It's specific to the cell phone tower where your cell phone is closest to. So Kilian used, according to him, his cell phone to access a software application called LAD, L-A-D. And this software application essentially allows you to enter a cell phone number, which is connected to a unique SIM card number which the network recognizes, and then that can spit out the location of your cell phone. This application can be opened on any laptop, on any cell phone, as long as you have a username and a login.
As we've moved through Zane Kilian's data, we've established that he was tracking prominent figures in the police, high-ranking members of the police in fact, and also key personnel in the police's anti-gang unit. His tracking of them was extensive. He followed 5 members of this anti-gang unit over a period of months until the death of Lieutenant Colonel Kinnear on September 18. Moreover, he tracked civil servants, politicians, doctors, bankers, businessmen, even members of his own family using this ping platform. Our analysis of the data shows us that Charl Kinnear was pinged 2,442 times using 3 different cell phones, one of which was allocated to him by the state, and the other 2 numbers were his private cell phones that were used to track him. Probably the biggest challenge in this investigation was the size of the data set we were working with. A massive spreadsheet containing thousands of numbers and thousands of instances of these pings. Our task was then to try and make sense of this using freely available tools to try and identify the people behind these numbers and then track them down and understand whether or not they ever knew they were being surveilled. In some cases, people knew that they were being tracked by Zane Kilian because they told us that he had told them that they were being tracked. In most instances, people had no idea that their movements were being monitored.
During the course of our investigation, we've uncovered that it is far too easy for someone to access the system. Essentially, the system was designed and put in place for law enforcement officers to be able to track the cell phones of, hijacking suspects or crash and transit heist suspects. But what has happened is that this has been sold to the private security industry. And someone like Zane Kilian is one of hundreds of people who have access to software platforms like LAD, who can essentially ping anyone's cell phone number at any time of day or night.